I'd like to now bring in Stan Lieber. Stan is the attorney for Thomas Riccio. You guys know who he is, the memorabilia dealer who testified at the Simpson hearing and was indeed granted immunity by the prosecutor. So, counselor, let me just put it out there for you. You are one heck of a negotiator. And from a defense attorney's standpoint, that is probably the best commercial known to man. Yes, I got immunity before this whole shebang started for my client. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the kind words.
Are you surprised that the case is going to trial, Stan?
No, I don't think anybody is surprised. They had a lot of counts. Somebody might be surprised that all the counts are going forward, but the DAs did a great job. They presented all the evidence that they needed, you know, in a preliminary hearing, as you know, and as your audience I'm sure does. You don't need a lot of evidence. You just need a little bit, and they had it.
Yes, and the word I think we use in our business is a scintilla of evidence just to move forward. That is very different than what a criminal trial will require for a conviction. As we all know, that standard of proof is much higher. Stan, let's go back to where your involvement began. You actually asked the DA for your client's immunity deal. I guess the old adage is true. If you don't ask for it, you can't get it. Tell us about the conversation, and why do you think they decided not to pull him in on the so-called sting operation and charge him with any crimes?
Well, he did not participate in the crime. He was there, but he didn't have a gun. He didn't plan anything with any of the people. He didn't take any of the stuff out. He didn't pack anything, and when they left, he still remained there. And I think they believed him when the investigators questioned him about that. That he didn't have anything to do with that. And when I negotiated with David Roger, we talked about all of that and his involvement. We gave him all the information. We told him what was on the tape, and he agreed. And you know, quite frankly, after all of this came out, Chris Owens, the other district attorney who tried the case, told me, you know, even if you didn't have the immunity agreement, we wouldn't have charged your client. So I think the consensus was and is that he wasn't culpable for anything, and that's why they gave him immunity.
And counselor, not culpable for anything criminally, but you know he has obviously been made the center of attention as it relates to the audio tape that was made to chronicle what went on in that hotel room. It's obviously going to become a huge part of a trial. Evidence that you can hear a defendant's voice is always important in a case. One of the co-defendants, Charles Ehrlich's attorney, said that all of the guys involved in this case are money hungry. And I'm sure you know that spotlight has been shined on your client. But you say he's a businessman and he makes no bones about it. He's trying to get paid.
Right. He is a businessman, and he is trying to make money, and again, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, if you sell your soul, so to speak, to give false testimony in return for money, you know, that's obviously improper. All he did was he sold a tape. The tape is what it is. He didn't sell his testimony. He didn't make up anything. The tape is what it is. So, and if you can make some money on what occurs, you know, all more power to him. I don't begrudge that. I don't think people should. And that's not what should be relevant. I understand from a defense point of view, you want to point the finger at everybody, all the witnesses and the victims that might have ulterior motives to try to discredit them. But if you notice, Mr. Galanter and the other defense attorneys really didn't grill Tom about any of that, because his testimony was partially favorable to them. He testified that he didn't talk to O.J. about the guns, and O.J. might not have seen the guns. So if he's trying to make up these things, you know, it's just not true.
You actually alluded to something that Thomas Riccio said on redirect as it relates to the gun and O.J. Simpson. Let's let our audience hear a little bit of that testimony from your client's Thomas Riccio.
He said over and over again, I didn't see any gun. And you know what? There's a good chance he didn't see. He was 3 feet in front of the guy, maybe 4 feet in front of the guy with the gun. or guns. I saw one gun, but I mean, there's a good chance he didn't. But he kept saying over and over again, I mean, I didn't see a gun. I didn't see a gun. Maybe he didn't.
He seems to leave that door open that Yale Galanter, as a defense attorney, and his team will want to be able to argue that O.J. Simpson was not complicit in the bringing of the guns or the directing that guns be used. Does your client still think of himself as a friend of O.J. Simpson's?
Well, no, he never thought of himself as a friend, even from day one. He was a business associate. He had one prior business dealing with O.J., and it went well. O.J. was fine with him, and quite frankly, he doesn't want to see anything bad happen to O.J. He likes him, which is sort of contrary to a lot of other people, me included. But regardless, no, they were never friends. They had a business relationship. That's it.
You know, I venture to guess that you'll hear more and more about your client's motives as we go on. I understand there's a book coming out, and you and I both will guess and make money on the fact that it will be timed to come out pretty simultaneously when this trial begins. And as you would say, if you can make money on it as a businessman, all power to you. Thank you, Stan Lieber. I appreciate you coming in. I appreciate you sharing and being so candid with us.